I bloody hate paint. I absolutely despise painting. Hello, welcome to HCR Garage. I am Henry. So in last week's episode, we made loads of progress on this engine bay. We got pretty much all the fabrications done, which I'm really happy about. And we put some seam sealer on and basically gave ourselves a really good starting point to get some paint down on this engine bay. Obviously, if you've not watched any of the previous episodes or series on this MGB, go back, have a look, because we've really transformed this car from the welding in the wings and sills and things to everything from performance upgrades, and then obviously getting this AJ30 Jaguar V6 to fit in this engine bay. So next up, or in this episode, is the final bit of this engine bay prep and the engine prep. So I want to paint the engine, get the rocker covers off, paint them. But I also want to sort out this engine bay, and that's going to involve some stone chip on the chassis rails and the cross member in black, and then tape that up and paint the sides and the back and the front in the body coloured kind of British racing green. So I'm going to start off by doing a little bit of filling and sanding on some bits that I'm not 100% happy with, and then we will kind of mask everything up and start spraying the stone chip. So sit back, relax, and enjoy kind of me doing the final transformation on this engine bay to get it looking absolutely perfect. So here's what the engine bay looks like at the moment. So yeah, from here downwards is going to be black stone chip, and probably inside here as well. Maybe not this bit, but maybe I'll tape up a line here, and that'll all be black. This is bits here where I need to just come in with a bit of a skim of filler and just get rid of any of the uneven bits where I've used the hammer, just to tidy it up a little bit. Same on that side. And then we can kind of start masking everything off, mask up the whole car, and get some paint down. There's going to be a lot of preparation involved in this, because just stuff like this all just needs sanding back, and yeah, the heater box needs cleaning up and stuff. All these need painting separately, so I'm just kind of trying to work out how's best to attack it. There's lots of little things that need to be done, and I feel like they need to be done in the correct order. So that's why it's just a little bit kind of thinking involved of what to do and when. So I think the best thing to do is start with filling those little kind of bumps and undulations, and once that's done, it's only going to be paint from then on in and cleaning up. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go crack on with that, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to start by mixing some of this filler. So golf ball size amount of filler with a pea amount of hardener. And it's got some filler in there, as good as I can get it with a concave kind of thing. Yeah, I use the grinding disc just to get that kind of shape. I just need to, when it's dry, come in and just sand it down as smooth as possible. It's not the outside of the car, so it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to look a little bit better than what it does currently. So whilst that filler's drying, my next job is to start work on the engine itself, which I've been putting off a little bit because, to be honest, it's a little bit worse for wear. On the outside anyway, I know the inside's good. It's a funny story with the engine. It came with so much documentation, and there was someone building one of those low cost kit cars, and he was very kind of active on all the forums, and he included the folder full of all the forum printouts of the web pages from the forums of him stripping down the engine, changing the timing chains, doing everything. So I'm quite happy that I don't need to kind of open up this engine. I've spun it, it's free. I know it's a risk, but I don't think there's any point in me taking the heads off and things like that. But what I do need to do is remove this gearbox, because it's got no flywheel or clutch or anything in it at the moment. Hopefully they're on the way. The flywheel ended up still at the place that I bought the gearbox and engine from. Just the engine from, because it is a manual flywheel for the manual 5-speed Jag gearbox, which is really rare, and that's why I want it. It's a dual mass flywheel, so it's a bit heavy. It's not ideal, but it saves me spending kind of 500, 600 quid on a billet flywheel and stuff, which is an option in the future. But once I've removed this gearbox, I need a way of kind of getting this engine up in the air without any of these kind of things on to give it a good clean and be able to paint it. Now I'll leave what colour I'm doing it as a little bit of a surprise, but I'm going to try and pay homage to the MGB a little bit. That involved me going around to my mum and dad's house and borrowing my dad's Black & Decker wood table thing. So yeah, I'm going to go around there, grab that table, and then I'll be back in a minute to get on with the rest of it. All right then, I've got my dad's table. Isn't it funny how some tools and things just remind you of different bits and bobs? My dad did our whole childhood house up on this table. I'll try not to ruin it. So now it's time to take all these cap head bolts off, disconnect that gearbox, get that on there, and then we can kind of start stripping it down a little bit, cleaning everything up, hopefully painting it. So you probably saw me struggling with this a little bit. Now this is an oil separator crankcase breather with a PCV valve on the end here. Now the idea was, on some of the Jags you can remove this, blank it off and put the breathers on the cam covers instead. However, I can't take this off without getting one of the heads off. I've been trying every different way and I can't. So I'm going to clean up the gasket because it's a bit filthy. I've vacuumed out in there so I can't get anything else kind of in that kind of hole, and I'm going to put it back on and it's going to stay. I didn't want to have it on, to be honest, but I'm not taking a head off to get it off, so I'm going to put it back on, and then we'll put like a little hose coming out here with a little filter on it, and it'll work. It's just not ideal. You ever just have one of those things where you just wish you'd never started it? It's on now. But I did want to take it off, but never mind. It'll have to stay and we'll sort it out. So I suppose I better just start cleaning everything up now. I'm going to get a screwdriver in here and try and like break off all the loose kind of oxidization and stuff. I bought some aluminium cleaner and prep. So then I'll spray the whole engine down with that and scrub it and try and get it all looking a lot better than it does now anyway. So yeah, I'll just kind of crack on with doing that. Right, well, I used some aluminium cleaner, and you know what, it's come up all right. Considering what it looked like before, it's good enough to kind of lay some paint over, I think. it's degreased, etc. So I'll turn the camera around and give you a little idea what it looks like. If you remember how much corrosion was on there and stuff, there's still a little bit in the corners, but I think that's pretty much set in, and hopefully the paint will just kind of make sure that doesn't get any worse. I've taken that pulley off because I don't need it anymore. A hell of a lot cleaner. Down there, I try my best to clean as much as possible. And that side as well. So I need to leave that to kind of dry off. So my filler should be dry now, so let's sand that down next. Right then, they're kind of filled and sanded now. Those little dents on the inner wings. Not perfect, but they'll do for this application. Let's just say that. I'm not feeling 100% today, by the way. I've come down with a lovely cold, which is great. I think that hay fever from last week wasn't hay fever, but one of those things. I'm still just trying to get on because I think sometimes the best thing to do is just stay busy, isn't it? So I might be a little bit slower though in this episode than normal. I'm going to mask up all the top half of the engine bay so that I can spray some stone chip on all the bits that I said before. So the chassis rails, the bit underneath, the transmission tunnel, all that type of stuff. So I'm going to get on with that now. You okay? Let's go and have a look. So Daddy's been doing some painting, hasn't he? Right, well, it's been a little bit since I've talked to you last, and I've lost my voice a little bit more, so that's good. Love it when that happens. So I've been just taping up the engine basically, and I didn't think it was that interesting for you to see. But I'm going to turn the camera around and show you, and then show you or tell you my plan. So that's all the engine all taped up for painting. I'm going to paint all the bolts and stuff because I'm not taking them all out, apart from these ones I'm going to change. You'll notice I've put some tape around this because I want to paint these first. I've got some special plastic high temperature paint, which I'm going to paint those with. Now, it would have been easier to take these off, but I don't have the gasket to go round. And it's just another thing that I'd have to order, which I don't want to. So I'm going to try it this way. If it looks crap, then I will take them off, rub them all down again and do it properly. But yeah, last thing today, because it's starting to get just a little bit late, is going to be do a couple of coats of black on these, and then we'll paint the actual block tomorrow now. So this is the paint, VHT plastic paint, and it's for kind of cam covers and things. It's for engine covers really. So we'll see if it works on this. It should do. So I'll let that dry on this side, and then I'll probably have to sand back a few of these. It's just a few drips just forming, which is interesting. do the other side. You can see there, just there's a little drip there. It's annoying. And yeah, I'll let that dry, and then I'll probably just sand a little bit there, just to get rid of those drips, and we'll give it another coat. I did properly wipe it all down and everything with degreaser, but there's still little bits of dust and stuff in there, which when you're painting outside, you're gonna get, aren't you? It's just one of those things. So yeah, wait for that to dry, do another coat, or get rid of drips, then do another coat. Well, whilst we're waiting for that to dry, let's get the final coat of the stone chip on the chassis rails and things on the car. That dries a bit more of a satin kind of colour, and the cans are playing up a little bit. I couldn't really get them to spray properly, but that's good enough. I'll obviously have to clean all this off now. Obviously, I underestimated how much that spray travels. Right, so I've just sanded that drip out. Done the same for that one there. So let's get another coat on that and see if it covers that up a little bit. Slightly worried about these bits. Hoping with the next coat they'll kind of come around. If not, I'll sand them and do one more coat afterwards. It's been a gorgeous day today. It's starting to get a bit chilly now though. It's like 8 o'clock in the evening. So I could do with wrapping up really and coming back tomorrow, but I do want to do one more coat and then hopefully they're done then. So in the morning I can paint up the rest of the engine essentially, and you'll see what colour I've chosen, which I think will divide opinions, and we'll see how it looks because I'm not too sure myself either. So yeah, one more coat and then I will see you in the morning. Just had a last minute decision to spray everything inside the V black as well. Just because I'm not going to, basically the paint that I'm using tomorrow is with a brush. I'm not going to be able to get a brush down in there. So all the middle of the V will be black, and then I'll pick a line probably here, which will paint over this black. It won't be an issue. Good morning, we're back in the garage. I'm just inspecting what we kind of finished up last time, and it just looks really good now it's dry. It's amazing what a bit of paint does to how something looks. So there are the frames, now they're all dry. And it's not like the kind of stone chip that kind of stays wet, it dries, which is nice. And apparently you can paint over this, but I think I'm going to leave it black. I'll probably tape up to one of these lines here when I come to do it. The rest of the paintwork. Yeah, that looks really good. And then the actual engine itself, that's come out really nicely as well. Nice satin black. And then, as I said at the end of last week, the last like bit of this episode, I decided to paint in the middle of the V as well. It's all going to be covered by my intake, but it just, it looks a bit more professional when you see through some little bits. Archie's just fighting away the birds, which is nice. So yeah, I'm going to come in today and try and paint up the rest of this block. I don't want to tape these lines because I don't want to pull the paint off. So I'm going to try and just really nicely kind of cut in now. Well, that's my plan anyway. We'll see if I can do it. If not, I will tape it up, but I'm worried that if I tape it, when I pull it off, it'll pull the paint off, but it shouldn't do because they look like it's really adhered really well. But yeah, let me just prep my paint and my brushes, and I'll show you what colour I'm going to do this block. So I'm all ready. I could have done with a better brush because I've only got my kind of cheap brushes, but we'll see how it works. Yeah, I don't know, but it's definitely going to put some colour on this block. Now, the colour I've gone for is the standard MGB maroon engine enamel. Now, it's controversial, but I think it should look quite good. And it's kind of like a hark back to what this engine used to look like in the car. So I suppose we can only tell by painting it and seeing what it looks like, I suppose. The original MGB's engine, up till I think the rubber bumper cars were maroon, then they went to black. So I thought, well, let's paint this engine maroon, see what it looks like. It should go with a green car. And keep it kind of, yeah, almost like a little testimonial to the original engine that was in there. So I'm going to start painting. Now, I think that looks really good. Not as good as if I'd sprayed it, and I kind of wish I had now, because that took a long time, a few hours of my time. And it would have been a lot easier to get a spray can and spray it, or use my compressor. But and I did consider that, but that paint, you need a special solvent to thin it down to spray it in a gun, so probably could have used thinners, it might have been all right. I didn't want to risk it, because it wasn't cheap paint. What do you think it looks like? You think it looks good? Let me know in the comments. I think it does. I like the fact that it's kind of harking back to an old school kind of MGB colour, which is nice. I also want to show you just a little detail I've added. I think that looks really cool. That's like the same Jaguar logo that's on XJS and things like that. And some people will know, I grew up with an XJS, so I think that looks really good. The only bit I'm not happy about is this front bit. Some of the paint kind of sagged and dropped and stuff. I think it's just me being picky. I don't think it needs another coat. I think it should be fine. It's just not perfect, but hey ho. Well, that's the engine itself kind of prepped, really. I just need to let that dry. It says dry for 6 days. It seems extreme, doesn't it? But hey ho. Next is the engine bay. And I've been putting it off because there's a lot of work involved. So that's all dry and that looks really good. I need to come in and clean all the top of this up in all these nooks and crannies down here, clean all that up, and then paint that black, or those black. I'm not sure I'm going to do that first or after I've painted the rest of the bay. I need to have a think about it. I could also do with cleaning this up, because that's just going to be one of those things that just lets it down if I leave it kind of rusty and whatever. So I've got a cover there that needs painting. That, and obviously de-rusting and whatever, that goes over the master cylinders. So yeah, I just need to come in and start cleaning everything up, really, ready for the paint. And I need to paint these engine and gearbox mounts as well. Right, well, that took forever and is very difficult. I forgot how much I dislike paint. Really dislike it. That's my son you can hear in the background. Really convenient. So I'll just turn the camera on and show you kind of what it looks like. So there you go. We're all taped off, back taped and whatever. I'm not going to take those holes. I need to redo the wheel arches anyway. Yeah. So I think the first job is to prime this whole thing. Well, to give it a clean, again, with some panel wipe, and then get some primer on the whole lot. That might be it for tonight, and I might come back tomorrow and do the actual painting. Right, so the primer's on. To be honest, I need to go and get some more primer. I kind of ran out, and I don't want to use my spray gun just for the primer, really. I just want to save that so there's less washing. Just for the main coat, there's a few bits like here where it's reacted, and I need to clean everything back down again. And now that the primer's on, you can see that little bit there that needs kind of sanding back. The rest of it looks all right. So I'm going to try and get rid of that and this, and then probably go out and get some more primer, and then I'll probably paint tomorrow the actual top coat. Right, okay, I've sanded that back. It's smooth, and I've sanded that back to make it look a little bit better. But it's about 5 o'clock in the evening now. I want to carry on, but I want to prime it again because I'm not happy with that. As in, I want to do a few more coats. So I'm going to nip to Halfords or Halfords, and I am going to buy some more etch primer, acid etch primer, which is what I've painted on that. And then I'm going to get 2 or 3 cans of the filler primer, hopefully just to give it all a nicer finish. So yeah, I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in a few seconds for you. Right, I'm back, and I'm armed with paint and a cold snack. So let's just wipe some of this dust down that obviously will have generated over the last kind of hour or so. I've not done anything with the car. And then we will spray some more primer. And we'll try and get all the priming done tonight so that I can give it a quick kind of wet and dry in the morning, and then spray the top coat. Yeah. So when I finished the last coat, before I went to the shops, I sprayed a few areas with just some normal primer, not the etch stuff, just because I was hoping to get away with not having to go to the shop, basically. Everywhere I've done that, once I've painted over it, it's reacted. All that back wall there, that whole heater box, it didn't stick, it just slid. Up there on the firewall, over there, here, where it reacted before. I bloody hate paint. I absolutely despise painting. Why isn't it easy? Why isn't it just zip, 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 done? Everything just has to, yeah, go wrong. It's even reacted in other places now that I'm looking. Oh dear. That primer's well and truly pissed me off, actually. So frustrating. It sets me back a long time, that, in work, load wise, because now I've got to strip all that back again. I did something to try and make myself feel a little bit better. I took all the like masking off this and it looks really good. At least that's something this episode we've managed to accomplish. The front doesn't look as clean as the rest. It still looks good though. Obviously, the exhaust manifolds cover all that up. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm going to keep these on for now, just because it stops anything going down the intake. I will remove them at some point as well. So it's now nearly 9 o'clock, and that time lapse you just watched was a good kind of 2 and a bit hours. I've only done the front bit, and to be honest, I'm looking at it now and it looks terrible still. I thought I'd just spray a little bit of light primer on there so that when I come in the morning, I can see whether I got rid of all of that kind of contamination. It looks like I might have done. It needs loads more sanding though. Oh, what a pain. What a pain. Just fights me every step, this car. It always has done since I first started doing the restoration. Yeah, I've got half a day tomorrow on it, and then I'll have to decide whether we release the video or not. Yeah, I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. So some slightly better news this morning. That paint that I put on last night, I thought it had reacted, but it hasn't. There's a few little bubbles, but I think that's just where I didn't sand properly. So now that we know it's not going to react, we can kind of, to be honest, take it back off again by just smoothing everything out. So I'm going to get 240 grit sandpaper on this front section, sand it all down smooth, and then hopefully get another coat of primer on it that doesn't react. And then we need to sort that bulkhead out and do exactly the same thing. That's going to be a right pain because it's hard to get to. And it looks an absolute mess at the moment. So lots to do. I'm just going to go for it, get everything prepped, and then I'll get back in touch with you once everything's in primer and dry, ready for paint. So that's now got another light dusting of primer on it. Now it all looks good apart from that one little bit there, which shouldn't be too bad to sort. Everything else looks like it's taken quite nicely now, which is good. Now I've set up a little washing line with my gearbox mount and engine mounts ready just to paint in black. So I need to prime them and give them a paint. So that's my next job. I really dislike the painting process because there's so much waiting involved. You spray a bit, you wait a bit. You spray a bit, you wait a bit. I want to get on with something, but I suppose it's good just to have a bit of a chilled out day doing a bit of painting. Yeah, still just waiting for this to dry so that I can spray my next coat, which is going to be a high build primer. Hopefully that doesn't react. But I've got to wait enough time so that everything's dry, so that it definitely, well, I give my best opportunity for it not to. So yeah, just hurry up and wait really. Whilst I was just waiting, I just kind of sanded down that cover for the reservoir, well, the pedal box, if you like, and just did a really light coat of primer. This primer does not like being applied heavily. It likes being applied like really, really lightly, and then doing several coats is what I've learned. If you don't, it just drips instantly like that. I'm not too bothered about these though, because they're under the car, so it's not really going to be seen, but this one's going to be pride and place in the in the engine bay, so I want it to look nice. Right, I've done the filler primer now, and that's made a big difference. It's all starting to look really nice now, actually, after my trials and tribulations. Same with those. I've filler primed them as well, and they're all starting to look really nice. So again, just got to wait for everything to dry, and then I can look at it and decide whether it needs a little wet and dry or not. And then hopefully today we can paint, maybe. If I can, that'd be great, because then I can get the episode out for Monday. It's Friday today, but I'm busy. It's just Saturday and Sunday, so I've got till 3 o'clock today, and it's about 11 o'clock now, so it's cutting it fine, but we'll see. Right, I'm almost ready to start spraying colour now. I don't think it needs another coat of that filler primer. It looks really good. I don't need to sand it down. If I do it now, within the 30 minutes or whatever, it should still be tacky enough, but dry enough to spray over the top of it for it to actually grip on without roughing it up. So that's the plan. I've also painted these black, so they'll look really good. They need another coat. That one's got a few bits in it, but it looks good enough for me. I'm going to be using this little gun today. Oh, that's my plan anyway. I've got a little filter in the bottom there. It was just a cheap one off Amazon. I thought there's no point getting my big gun out and having to clean it all up and all that type of stuff when I can kind of use this and get into all the nooks and crannies and things. That's the idea anyway. So now I've got to mix my paint up. Hopefully I've got enough left, because I know I've not got too much. 2 parts paint to 1 part hardener, and then up to 10% thinners. So I'll mix some of that up, and then I'm not going to pour it in the gun yet, because I need to set the gun up at 43 psi, which is a bit higher than that one. Let's hope the compressor can handle it. Right then, I've got my paint suit on, which I might have welded a little bit. I've got the compressor set up outside. I've got my extraction fan just on. I'm not painting a massive area today, so I'm not bothered about setting up the whole garage, and time constraints do not allow it. So I'm going to pour in a little bit of paint into this, test it on this piece of paper that I've put up on the wall here, just to check the spray pattern and things. And then I'm just going to go straight for it. I've given everything just like a quick wipe down, because it's dry to touch, if you like. So yeah, it's just time to go for it. I'm going to stick you on a video, and yeah, hopefully you can watch me do this engine made paint. So that's my kind of mist coat done. So the next coat will be a proper, slow, nice paint. So I'm sitting in the garden now, enjoying a cup of tea. Got to give it about an hour for all that to dry, and then I can peel all the masting off. Considering how much of a kind of bad day we had yesterday in the garage with the primer reacting and all that type of stuff, I feel like today has gone really well. Kind of redeemed myself, I think, a little bit. That engine bay paint will not be perfect. It's a disclaimer I put on most of my videos that I'm not in the game to make things perfect. I'm in the game to make things look good and perform well. That's my idea anyway. I'm not a big company with a full spray booth and everything, and I've just not got the time to deep clean everything to an inch of perfection. So what it looks like now will have to do. And once I've got that nicely painted engine in and all these other bits, I've put lacquer on that as well. It should look really good. Once we've wrapped all the exhaust, and starting to get a vision of what it's going to look like in my brain now, so it's good. So I'm going to have a cup of tea, wait an hour, and then rip all that masking tape off. Well then, what do you think? I think it looks alright, you know? It's not perfect, but it's alright. I'm going to take all the tape off of that when it's completely dry. It's not in contact with any of the bodywork, so I'd rather not risk getting any fingerprints or anything on it. The rest of it needed to come off, so it didn't. Well, you're meant to take the tape off when it's still slightly tacky. Better than the all black I was going to do it, I think. And most of that will be covered by engine, so it'll only be the bits that you can see. And it is the same colour as the wings, they're just matte because I've not polished them up yet. And I don't know what to do with that heater box, whether to leave it green or paint it black as a contrast. Let me know what you think. There you go, it's another episode done. Highs and lows in this one, definitely, but a high in the end. We've got the engine painted, the engine bay painted, both of which look really, really good. And I can't wait for them to come together and look fantastic. We also painted some engine mounts and that cover for the pedal box and things like that. So it's been good. It's been a real good achievement. And now I can let that dry whilst I go back to work. And then next time I'm in the garage, I can start on something else, which I'm not 100% certain what it is yet. I'm waiting for a flywheel, basically, which was meant to be delivered when my engine and gearbox were delivered, but it got left behind, basically. So I'm waiting for the fella who I bought that off to send it. And then once I've got it, I can finally make the gearbox and engine up for the last time and get it in the car for the last time. But yeah, it's just a waiting game now for that. Thank you again for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. I really appreciate it. Drop a comment on the video. Tell me what you think about my job and the colour choices and things. And give it a like if you don't mind. And I will see you next time round.